Welcome back to the channel. I'm Rochelle. This is Brampton Gardener, and today we are going to do a video where I'm going to show you how I made these cute little soil blocks, and you can find out what I planted. Flat container, so I have this blue one. I'm going to be doing my peppers in here. And then I have two of these brown ones. I don't know if I'm going to use both of them today. Probably not, because that's a lot of seeds. I don't know if I'm ready to start quite that many. But I have two of these little cafeteria trays. So these and the blue are all going to be with the soil blocks, and I'm going to be using, where is it? Here we go. My mini soil blocker for that. So in here, it's just going to get two sets of 20, so that's 40. 40 peppers is a lot. So I'm going to have to kind of be thinking as I go how many I want. On this one, I think I can do 6 of these. Yeah, so 6 times 20. It's a lot of seeds. So I can do 120 seeds on these two trays. The soil blocker is just, it's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant how that works. So let's get started. Let's talk. My potting mix is at the perfect moisture level for potting, but it needs to be a lot wetter for the soil blocks. For wet consistency, think sand when you're making a sand castle, right? If it's not wet enough, it's not going to hold together. If it's too wet, it's going to fall apart. So that's kind of what you're looking for, and you really got to get in there with your hand. It's running down my wrist. Oops. Because you'll kind of get a feel for it once you do it a bit. And it never fails. I always have to do a few test practice ones. Now for my mix, I'm just using straight potting mix. I usually use like a Pro Mix. This is an indoor potting mix. I don't add any of the fancy stuff to it. I just found that it has not been necessary, and they've worked really well for me. If you want to go ahead and do the fancy stuff where you add in the green sand and all this other stuff, I'm sure it is better, but I didn't have access to a lot of that, especially during the time that I started using the soil blocks, and so it just wasn't feasible. So I thought, I'll just try it without, and it's worked fine. So I don't see the point in making things harder than they need to be. So this is what it looks like, and then you're going to push it and these little things come up. They have little divots in there for the seeds, and you really have to push it flat. If it's not flat and lumpy, then it's not going to keep a nice shape. You also don't want to be pushing it in with your fingers. You don't want to be packing it in too hard, because that's going to make it so compacted that your seeds are going to have trouble germinating. So you don't want it too packed, but just enough. Make sure your hands are on either side. And you get just enough. You don't want any soil underneath where you're doing the wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. And you can kind of test with your hand, scrape it flat if it needs to be. Mine looks pretty good. Then what I like to do is when I put it on whatever surface it is, I do just like a half squeeze and kind of push down with the whole thing. Like boom, 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 little pressure like that, and then I lift up, and that just helps pack it in. And look at that! Perfect, adorable little soil brownies. They totally look like brownies. All right, so now I have on this one little tray 120 soil blocks. Okay, and now we're gonna switch and just add these two. So this is Sugar Rush. It's gonna be Lemon Drop. This plant had so many peppers on it. Oh my gosh, it was so prolific, like crazy. Red Cherry. Charaxo and Poblanos from my good friend over at Mayfield Ranch. Thank you so much, Katie. Cayenne. Habanada. We're definitely doing the habanadas. I have New Mexico 6. Of these super hot Thai chilies. Or do I want to do more, or do I want to do two? You know what? I'm going to do two of these, and then 2 of the Big Gem. And I really should have kept the hots, the super hots together better than I am. I'm all over the place. Oh my gosh, I didn't write down the last several ones I did I? Okay, so the back 2. I'm gonna really soak these seeds because, as you know, pepper seeds are really hard to germinate. They really need to be soaked. I'm probably gonna give them a nice push into the soil so they have nice contact with it. I'm just gonna push them down in nicely. Good boy. Good boy to keep calm, yes. Oops. Yeah, I know. Oh my goodness, such a good boy. Okay, so I'm only going to be doing my micro tomatoes right now, so let me just sort through. Talk amongst yourselves. With Bahaha. Going this way, we're going to go with Tumbling Tom. Tiny Tim's, a classic. It's just a really basic tasting cherry tomato, just your typical red cherry tomato, but it's Dexter's favorite. And it just, it grows so well. It's so prolific. They're great in salads. They might not be the best tasting, most exciting tomato, but they're just one of those, you know, tried and true. I will probably always grow Tiny Tim. And then next up I have Canary, which I really liked. Okay, and then next up we have Orange Hat. Then we'll go with the Olka. Well, let's start in on some of the basil. Some of the herbs. So I got lemon basil. And I'm gonna go dark opal. Dark opal basil that I won from Joe at Garden State Gardener, or was it Grow Big TV? I'm not sure which channel it was that I won it on, but it was from Joe. It was Grow Big because it was one of their interview nights. It was on a Thursday night with him and Courtney. That's right. This is like a miniature basil. It's called Piccolino. Okay, we're gonna go Piccolino, and then I'm gonna go with the large leaf right next to it because it probably should be easier to kind of tell those apart, I would think. I have Siam Queen. I'm gonna do the red ribbon basil on the end, and then cinnamon basil is gonna get its own side. I'm gonna do with all that basil. I'm gonna eat it. And this cinnamon basil is gonna like outgrow everything I've started. It's like the most vigorous. Pink geranium. Never grown geranium from seed before, so open it up. They're just. Are they really that? Is it powder? I don't know. I think I'm just gonna stick the whole little dried thing in there because I don't know if that's 5 million begonia seeds or not. So, I mean, it looks like powder. I'm not seeing any like seeds, like anything. I don't know. Maybe they weren't viable. So we're just gonna drop these in and see what happens. The ones I have grown begonias before, but they came pelleted. So I also wanted to try some heliotrope. I did not have any luck with it last year. The flowering kale, I have a few of those seeds left. They're actually, okay, alive is maybe not the word for it, but there's actually a couple out front. There's some that are definitely dead, and then there's some that are actually still not dead. Polka dot plants. I have a few of those in here. These are the cutest little seedlings, and they are slow growers, so we're gonna start some of those. Oh, I didn't start my cilantro. Oh my goodness, so we're gonna do 2 rows of cilantro. Yeah. Oh my goodness, I forgot. And regular. This one likes it dark, so we're gonna add a little extra vermiculite on there, see if it gives it a little bit more shade. Wow, I feel really accomplished. I've been feeling so guilty because I was so far behind, and then I just kind of had this like mental block, like I just couldn't even think about, I was feeling very overwhelmed because I was so behind on everything and I hadn't got any of my seeds started. Oh my goodness, I feel really good. So I have all of my micro tomatoes, all of my basils, and my cilantro that I wanted to get started. I have a few of these other interesting flowers maybe that are like really slow growers, possibly difficult to grow. I know begonias say they can take anywhere from but this, it says germination can take anywhere from 15 to 60 days. So I won't give up hope on them. I will just let them keep doing their thing, and hopefully we see something, which I have no idea if we will or not, because yeah. Then I got all of my peppers started. Doesn't mean I won't start more peppers. Just means all the ones that I had that I wanted started. And both in one of those plastic bags like you get with your comforter. When you buy like a new comforter, it comes in that big clear plastic bag with a big zipper. I like to use that for seed starting because it creates this beautiful humid environment, and I can just stick the heat mat right underneath all of that. So I'm going to take this all upstairs. I'm going to get it set up in the grow room. I don't have any lights up yet, so it doesn't really matter where they go because they don't need a ton of light yet. So I'm just going to go throw them up on the shelf and I'll show you what they look like. A quick 1 week update on we have the dwarf tomatoes and some of the flowers and the peppers. They're just starting to pop up. So everything's doing good and very happy in their little grow room. So don't forget to hit like. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.